and intriguing story. I read this one in one day and could not put it down. The Little Mermaid from the original Hans Christian Andersen and the incarnation by Disney are familiar to most. The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill is touted as a feminist remake of The Little Mermaid. If you want the Disney version, this is not it. There are dark and violent scenes, loads of misogynistic moments from the main male lead as well as the father of the main character. My favorite character ended up being Ceto the Sea Witch. It's very entertaining to read, but definitely not for kids. I love stories about secondary characters who turn out not at all like what the original story makes them out to be. Just like The Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. This Cinderella retelling is about one of the ugly stepsisters and her story. So after Cinderella goes to the castle, what becomes of the stepmother and the stepsisters? Well, they're shunned by the villagers that they once looked down upon. The stepsisters, who had disfigured themselves to fit into the glass slipper, now must make a life, try not to starve, and maybe even save the day. I love the way the ugly stepsister was able to see the beauty in her strength and not to be afraid to be a strong woman. All the Ever Afters by Danielle Teller. In this Cinderella retelling, the stepmother is fleshed out as a main character and you get to gain a better understanding of her motivations. Agnes has suffered hardships in her life that Cinderella would have found familiar. Grueling, endless labor and heartbreak after heartbreak. Maybe Cinderella and her stepmother have more in common than you would think. Bitter Greens by Kate Forsyth is a gruesome Rapunzel retelling that tells the story of Margarita, Selina, and Charlotte Rose, the writer who brought us the story of Rapunzel as we know it today. Margarita's father is caught stealing parsley from the walled garden of the courtesan Selina, and rather than have his hands cut off, relinquished his daughter to the courtesan. A very dark and chilling version of Rapunzel indeed. The Girl in Red by Christina Henry. Red Riding Hood during the apocalypse? Sure, why not? The story takes the elements of Little Red Riding Hood and weaves a post-apocalyptic survival story around them. Girl in a Red Hood? Check. Grandma's house? Check. Scary woods filled with scary things? Check. There is even an axe thrown in for good measure. Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter is a modern-day retelling of a Russian folklore story entitled Vasilisa the Beautiful. There are several characters of Russian folklore that show up, most notably the Baba Yaga, who runs a convenience store and decapitates shoplifters. What's a conglomeration, you ask? Conglomeration, a number of different things, parts, or items that are grouped together, a collection. The following books are fairy tale conglomerations with aspects of different stories all together within one world. This book I always recommend to people who like fairy tales. In this story, the main character, Jacob Reckless, is a young man who has found a magic mirror world through the ancient mirror in his father's office. He has been escaping to this world since he was young and has created a life for himself there. He has the knack for finding enchanted items like a glass slipper or poisoned apples and other magical items that may be familiar to you. Everything is great until his younger brother follows him and becomes infected by a curse that slowly is turning his skin to stone. Can Jacob help him in time? I won't tell. The Alchemist by Michael Scott is the first in a series of books drenched in fairy tales and folklore from all over the world. Set in a contemporary world, this young adult series is about the adventures of a set of twins whom prophecy predicts are the chosen ones, where one will destroy the world and the other will save it. From golems to sphinxes and everything in between. Michael Scott intertwines aspects of every imaginable kind of folklore, mythology, and fairy tale. These books really rejuvenated my love of mythology, and I ended up looking up and into all the mythology that I had loved as a teenager. Most of these titles and many more can be found on our e-library. For more recommendations or for help looking for just the right tale, please contact your local library staff. We'll be happy to hear from you. I wish you all a happily ever after.
Ramadan Kareem. Let's celebrate with the library. First, we'll make a lantern craft for Eid. This craft is great for all ages, and the supplies you need are very simple. Colorful paper, scissors, glue or tape, and coloring supplies. Cut the paper into a small rectangle. Next, fold up the edge on both sides, about a centimeter up from the bottom. You'll have a nice blank space in the middle to color. Next, you can color and draw the inside any way you want. Be creative. I drew a moon and some stars, but you can color as much or as little as you want. And if you have patterned paper, you might not need to color at all. But I like drawing stars. Next, fold the paper in half, matching it right up at the top. Then take your scissors and cut slits right up to the fold, about a centimeter apart. Sometimes you can need a grown-up to help you with this, and that's okay. Unfold your lantern and glue or tape on the short edge. This can be a bit tricky, but you're just making a tube that comes together. It's okay if it's not perfect. You can use any kind of glue or tape for this. Next, cut a small strip of paper for the handle. Once again, about a centimeter wide. Then you can tape or glue the handle right to the top. Glue stick works well, but tape can also be good. There we go, all done. There's my lantern. You can make many of these. String them all together. You can hang them in your room or put them up as a decoration for Eid. The library has books all about Ramadan as well. They're available in our e-library, so you can access them from anywhere in the province. My favorite book is called Golden Domes and Silver Lanterns by Hema Khan, with beautiful illustrations by Mendorkat Amini. In the story, children can learn different colors and relate them to different parts of the holiday. Brown for dates, white for kufi, yellow for the box, and green for the Quran. It is a lovely book to read with children. Other books from our e-library include Layla's Lunchbox, Once Upon an Eid, The Gift of Ramadan, and Ramadan Moon. We also have books explaining the traditions of Ramadan, like Rashad's Ramadan and Celebrate the World Ramadan. You can find these books and others by visiting elibrary.overdrive.com or by using the Libby app.
If you love the new Netflix series Bridgerton and are looking for something to fill that Regency void, the Newfoundland and Labrador Public Libraries is here to help with some great reading recommendations to keep you going while you await Season 2. Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn If you have not read this series already, it is the obvious place to start as it was the inspiration behind the television drama. Follow the exploits of the Bridgerton family as they navigate love amidst the glittering, gossipy, cutthroat world of London's elite. Girl Meets Duke series by Tessa Dare. While these books are interconnected, they do not need to be read in a specific order. If you like your female leads spunky and independent, if you like some humor alongside the steamy romance, and if you love a happily ever after, give this series a try. The Rules of Scoundrels series by Sarah MacLean. These interconnected novels filled with wit and passion and featuring scandalous heroes bring the underworld of Regency London to life and are sure to sate one's appetite for Bridgerton-style Regency romance. Hathaway series by Lisa Kleypas. This series is perfect if one of the elements you enjoyed most in Bridgerton was following along the various siblings' individual love stories, as it follows a quirky family who comes into an inheritance which elevates them into higher society. Each novel follows a different sibling as they navigate the world of London aristocracy, as well as the world of love. The works of Jane Austen. If you loved the world of Regency England that Bridgerton brought to life, why not delve into the real thing? The works of Jane Austen do not just take place in Regency England, they were written during that time, and therefore are a wonderful window into the people, the way of life, and the romance of the period. Reluctant Royals series by Alyssa Cole. In contrast to the classics of Jane Austen, if you loved the modern touches that were sprinkled throughout Bridgerton's version of Regency England, you may like this series, a contemporary romance series sprinkled with touches of historical romance. Be sure to check with your local library staff, our online catalog via our website, or our e-library via the Libby app for access to these and more titles. Happy reading!
Hi, and welcome to Storytime at Home. My name is Quinn, and I work with Newfoundland and Labrador public libraries. I'm super excited about Storytime today. Let's get started with our welcome song. Up, down, turn around, touch the sky and touch the ground. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, wiggle shoulders, say hello. Can we sing it one more time? Now I'm just doing the action seated, but you could stand up and reach up really high and reach down really low. Let's go. Up, down, turn around, touch the sky and touch the ground. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes, wiggle shoulders, say hello. Well, hello. Today's story time is all about poetry because April is National Poetry Month. Did you know that a lot of the rhymes we sing, like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and Hated a Little, the Cat and the Fiddle, those are all poems. So I have a few poems that I would like to share with you today. Now, a lot of poems, but not all poems, have rhyming words. And words that rhyme are words that have the same sounding ending. So if I think of my name, Quinn, a word that rhymes with Quinn would be pin or kin. So to be able to hear all of those really great rhyming words today, I think we should find our listening ears. Can you dig deep into your pockets and pull out your listening ears? Now, I dug deep into my pocket, but I didn't find my listening ears. I found a frog and a hat and a cat. Maybe I should check another pocket. I'm going to check in this pocket. Hopefully my listening ears will be in there. Rummaging around, and I found not my listening ears, but a bat and a dog and a hog. Now I have one more pocket to try. Let's see if I can find my listening ears. Have you found your listening ears already? I'm gonna reach right in. Oh, I found them. I'm gonna put my listening ears on. Can you put your listening ears on? Excellent. With our listening ears on, we should be able to hear all of those rhyming words. Maybe we could hear or see what words and animals rhyme. So here I have my hog, and I also have my cat. Let's see if the rest of our items and animals rhyme with either our hog or our cat. First one we have is our frog. Now, listen closely. Does frog have the same sounding ending as cat or as hog? Frog, cat. Frog, hog. Did you get it? Frog and hog rhyme. Let's do our next one. Here we have a hat, an orange hat. Does hat rhyme with cat, or does hat rhyme with hog? You're right. Cat and hat have the same sounds at the end. Next we have our bat. Can you hear which, either our hog or our cat, that our bat sounds alike? Hog, bat. Cat, bat. You're right. Cat and bat have the same sound of ending and they rhyme. Our last animal is our dog. Hog, dog. Cat, dog. You're right. Our hog and our dog rhyme. Now I wanted to share with you a book of poems about different woodland animals, or animals that live in the woods. Now this book is fairly new to me, but I really enjoyed reading it. The book is by Karen Jameson, and the pictures are done by Mark Boutavant, and it's published by Chronicle Books. And in this book, you can listen to all of the poems about the different woodland creatures. It has great illustrations. And you can also look at the pictures to see which woodland creature each poem is about. Come home, big paws, berry picker, honey trickster, shadows deepen in the glen, lumber back inside your den. And this poem is about our big bear. Were you able to hear the rhyming words in that poem? Come home, velvet nose, antlered swimmer, pondweed skimmer, daylight's fleeting, wade ashore, bed down in the great outdoors. Have you ever touched a moose nose? It's so very soft, isn't it? Come home, tiny hooves, wide-eyed runner, spotted sunner, evening sounding, scurry, rush, safely nap in wooded brush. All the woodland creatures seem to be heading off to bed, don't they? I wonder if I read the next poem, if you could guess which animal the poem is about. Come home, swift legs, furry schemer, red-tailed dreamer. Night winds blowing, trot this way, mountain dens, your hideaway. I think the biggest hint with this one is red-tailed dreamer. Can you think of an animal that lives in the woods that has a red tail? Did you guess the fox? Excellent. Should we try another one like that, where you can guess? Oh, this is a good one. Come home, long ears. Meadow hopper, clover cropper. Twilight whispers, time to furrow. Curl up tight inside your burrow. Can you think of a forest animal that has a burrow that might nibble on clover and that hops? Did you guess a rabbit or a hare? This way, small boots, brave trailblazer, bright stargazer, cabins toasty, blankets soft, snuggle deep in sleeping loft. The animal that poem is about is this little girl. Every creature's tucked in tight, woodland dreams swirl round tonight. Now, we didn't have a chance to read the poems for all of the animals, so this would be a great one to borrow from your local library so that you can read even more poems about woodland creatures. Let's share a poem together that has a little bit of action. This poem is called A Pizza the Size of the Sun, and it's by Jack Perletsky. Now, you have two options when we read this poem together. You could, every time I say pizza, maybe stand up when you hear that word, or you could create a pizza right in front of you. I'm going to do that one, but you can feel free to stand up or create a pizza, or maybe even do both. I'm making a pizza. You could even say it with me. The size of the sun. A pizza that's sure to weigh more than a ton. A pizza too massive to pick up and toss. A pizza resplendent with oceans of sauce. I'm topping my pizza with mountains of cheese. I love cheese. With acres of peppers, pimentos, and peas. With mushrooms, tomatoes, and sausage galore, and every last olive they had at the store. I don't really like olives on my pizza. Do you? My pizza is sure to be one of a kind. My pizza will leave other pizzas behind. My pizza will be a delectable treat that all who love pizza are welcome to eat. The oven is hot. I believe it will take a year and a half for my pizza to bake. I can hardly wait till my pizza is done. My wonderful pizza, the size of the sun. It's kind of a fun one. Can you think of what you would put on your pizza, the size of the sun, and who you might like to share it with? I wanted to share with you another poem from one of my favorite poetry collections. This poetry collection is called A Light in the Attic, and it's poems and drawings by Shel Silverstein. And this book is actually one of my very own that I was given when I was 8 years old. That was a long time ago now, but it's something that I have kept and cherished all the way to my adulthood. The poem I wanted to share with you today is called Shaking, and it's kind of a funny one. I always like all the drawings here. Shaking. Geraldine, now stop shaking that cow. For heaven's sake, for your sake, and the cow's sake. That's the dumbest way I've seen to make a milkshake. How silly is that? Do you think that would be a very good milkshake made by just shaking a cow? I don't think so. Well, I think it's time for our goodbye song. I hope you enjoyed some of the poetry and poems that we shared today. For our goodbye song, you can feel free to get up once again and do the actions, or you can stay seated like me and do them here as well. Up, down, turn around, touch the sky and touch the ground. Pat your belly, blink your eyes, blow a kiss, and say goodbye.
The following program is brought to you by Rogers Anyplace TV. Enjoy exclusive content for free. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy DC, and I am the